What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down when Jerome Powell is giving a speech for tomorrow and how this could affect the markets and what's going on with some news affecting Tesla. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. This offer ends in just 8 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. For the market right now, we're starting to see some upside for many different tickers. I broke down yesterday that there were possible bullish wedges on Aapl, on Tesla, not Tesla, I'm sorry, Aapl, SPY, QQQ, and Nvda, but not for Tesla. I told you this could still help Tesla drag up just a little bit. That's what's happening so far. But there's always going to be that risk of downside for Tesla in the future because of the current head and shoulders like pattern and also based on what we're seeing on the news. So we're going to be watching to see how the technicals look. The market's approaching some very tough resistance. I'll be breaking down more details over the next couple of minutes. But first, let's talk about what's happening with the economic calendar. So for today, we had Barr, Jeffrey, Waller, Williams, and Logan all giving speeches from the Fed, and the majority of them have been a little bit more on the dovish side, saying that the Fed should pause very soon. This has helped the market pump a bit alongside the 3-year note auction, which was lower than expected or lower than the previous report, and total household debt is still going up for Q3 for the US, so that's not going to affect the market as much, but the overall data has been a little bit more in favor of the bulls because of this note auction and also the Fed speakers. And also, we have Jerome Powell giving a speech tomorrow at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So when Powell gives his speech, it's going to be at the Division of Research and Statistics Centennial Conference. This is going to be in Washington, D.C. And I just want to warn everyone that, look, the market's going to close in about 2 hours from now. And then by the time the market closes, that's going to be it because Powell is going to be giving his speech before the market opens tomorrow. So your last chance to exit any options, any equities, any positions you have, if you're day trading or swing trading, your last chance is going to be today, unless you want to hold through Jerome Powell's speech. It's all up to you. Now, you might be thinking, it's just his opening remarks. Why is this important? Well, if Powell makes any comments about the economy, the state of the overall monetary policy of the Fed, if he says anything about inflation, just one little comment could still move the whole market and make headlines. The headlines love to cause either fear or cause big moves in the markets because they are once again in favor of certain parties. They could have their own agendas. So you just want to be very careful. Jerome Powell could still move the markets. And in my opinion, you just want to be careful nonetheless. So anyways, looking at the market, as far as Tesla goes, there's been strikes going on in Sweden. They're now expanding to all the ports out there. And there was some news that the latest developments have come out with different union officials potentially meeting up with Tesla representatives. But instead, they actually announced that they're going to be, applying to blockade to unfold all the Tesla vehicles on all Swedish ports. So with this going on, this is once again trying to get Tesla to take them seriously. And I really hope that they resolve this issue as soon as possible. But this is not the best of news so far. But we had some good news that came out that the Tesla insurance registrations in China have totaled 14,000 for the week. That's up 30% relative to the prior week, up 10,800, which is good news for them as the Model 3 is getting more sales. So we're hoping Tesla meets their goals. And now we're going to be watching some key levels. So from a technical standpoint, Tesla is trying to push up higher. We're kind of shuffling between 220 and 221. Watch 221 as resistance, 222.5, and then 225 above that. For support, watch 220. If we lose that, watch 218. Then we have this 216.8 area, 215 to 214. And if we lose 214, that's when you turn more bearish. That's when like the 212s are coming and potentially even lower levels. But for now, Tesla has been holding above 214 very nicely. It's continuing to hold up. And right now we're seeing buyers still stepping in. We started kind of weak, but we saw buyers try to hold it up. I warned you all that Tesla might do something like this, but it's going to be a little weak compared to the market, and that is what's happening. Tesla's not super strong, but it's only pumping because Aapl, SPY, Nvda, and all these other tickers are just continuing to hold up. So that's part of why it's going on like this. But what's going on with the markets? That's going to be the real question. The answer is we're still looking like we're trying to get to the upside, but we have some tight resistance on SPY. And this is once again affecting Tesla. So let's look at SPY. What is the tight resistance I'm talking about? The answer is 437.5 and then 438. We have some very tight resistance there because historically we tend to see a lot of sellers stepping in this 438 area. So like up here, we tend to see a lot of sellers right here where we have 438. So watch that very carefully. We have some tight resistance there. In the morning, I called out this flag that could be forming. I had this drawn out in the morning, and we ended up getting a break to the upside. I also warned you guys about this yesterday. We might see some upside with some chop and range-bound price action, similar to what's happening. But I still think the market is due for some downside. It's going to happen in the future, but we're not quite there yet. The market needs a little bit more time before we start to see the sellers stepping in. So we just want to be patient. Watch these resistance levels. First off, we have 437.5 at 438 to about 438.5. For support, we have some support at 437, not that strong though, compared to like 436.5. Then we have 435.5 below that. And so far, that's holding up the market. If we lose 435.5, watch 435 flat. And if we lose that, there's a risk of it coming all the way back down to 434. As of right now, the buyers have the edge and they're trying to push it higher. So we're going to be watching these resistance levels. We will see what Jerome Powell causes for tomorrow. Right now, we're looking more bullish on the QQQ. We actually have a new resistance to be watching for. This thing broke above, 372, which was harder than what I was expecting. We're going to be watching 373.5 as key resistance. If we break this, watch 374 and then 375 above that. If we break down, watch 372.6. If we end up breaking below that, we have some support at 371.5, followed by 371, 370.5, and then 370 as support. We have lots of supports to be watching for, but the most important support right now is going to be this 372 area. And for resistance, 373.5 is the most important. We're kind of range bound for now, but we're looking a bit more bullish as we're approaching Powell's speech. Part of that is because Nvda is getting very close to this level I called out yesterday. I was mentioning that if we kept breaking out on Nvda, 460 to 462 is a zone to be watching for. That's kind of like the range for today, because that's where we have historical resistance right over here. If we break above the 462s, we could get very close to 465. There's not much resistance dividing them. And if we reject off this, you're going to be watching previous resistance becoming support around 460. If we lose that, you're going to be watching support around 455, 451 to 450 below that. And if you want to turn bearish, you want to see this thing break below 450. As of right now, it hasn't truly done that, and we're continuing to look bullish. So we're looking more bullish. It looks like it's going to try to break 462. We're going to be watching this test. As of right now, it's holding up nicely. So we'll just have to wait and see what Jerome Powell causes. But it is favoring the bulls a bit more for now. Same thing on Aapl. Aapl is also favoring the bulls a bit more because this thing continued to break out. I had this bullish wedge drawn out on Aapl, and then we got the breakout for today. This was a little ironic considering how overbought we were. We're going to be watching support at 182. If we lose that, watch 181 flat. Then we have 180 and then 178 as key support. For resistance, watch 182.5. If we break that, watch 183.5, followed by 184. So we're going to be watching these levels. We have a bullish wedge right now leading to this break to the upside. The odds do favor Aapl trying to hold in the 182s. It might just chop a little bit, but overall, it is favoring the bulls a bit more, and there is going to be some potential buyers trying to defend at these high levels. It might just shuffle between 182 to 182.5 for the majority of the day, but we are looking like it's going to try to go a little higher, and we're going to be watching to see how Jerome Powell affects this. So with that said, guys, on Tesla, we have a bearish structure that is still present. We have a head and shoulders that is still present. This could be a right shoulder forming on Tesla, but there's no confirmation now that Tesla's going to sink really hard just yet, unless we truly break below this 214 area. As of right now, it looks like it's just going to stay in this range, go back and forth between supply and demand. We're going to be watching resistance at 225 and also 222.5 and 221 right now. Tesla may remain in this range for quite some time, going back and forth and back and forth. But until we break 214, Tesla might just be stuck for the time being. if we end up breaking below 214, maybe after Jerome Powell's speech, or maybe something happens in the markets that leads to that happening, there's going to be a risk of Tesla sinking lower. We're going to be waiting for confirmation, so just be very patient. I still think it's very possible that's going to happen. I think there's a good chance of Tesla cooling off, but we have to wait and see what news comes out. We have to see if Tesla starts breaking these levels. I still think it's going to happen eventually, but I need to watch for confirmation now just to be safe, because I don't want to make the call just yet until we see and hear what Jerome Powell has to say. And we'll be watching for this for tomorrow. All right, guys, so watch and see what Jerome Powell says. We'll see if he causes the market to pump even more, if he causes a rug pull. He's going to be speaking 15 minutes before the market opens tomorrow. So just get ready and do what you have to do. All right. Thank you for listening. Have a good one, guys, and peace out.